Hello, welcome to that Peter Crouch podcast with me, Peter Crouch, Notorious SID and Chris Stark with us today. Chris, you got a bit of news for us, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, this, to talk about. I guess, like, you know, everything we do with this podcast, we do take the piss a lot out of each other, and we talk about a lot of stuff, and I guess we always say we enjoy it. And what I've always loved about doing this podcast is, and I really noticed it in COVID as well, was where it felt like we'd have a lot of fun, but then I found people would share stuff from their life and sort of share their experiences of kind of what we soundtrack, I guess, a little bit when we do the podcast, because we do have a laugh, but we also do sort of look out for each other a bit as well. And, you know, as we always say, regards to your families, that kind of thing. So anyway, I've been going through this stuff like about the last 6 weeks or so, and I was having a bit of a debate in my head whether we maybe talk about it on the podcast, just in case, I don't know, it sparks a bit of a conversation. And then part of me was a bit like, actually, no, let's not do that, because really we're just here to chat football and have a laugh. And then you boys were saying, but no, it is probably the right thing to do if you want to do it, just to chat about your experience and then see if it resonates, I guess. So just going to throw it out there, I guess, and see what happens. But a really strange one for me. But about 6 weeks ago, I got told I got testicular cancer, which is it's weirder saying it now than it was actually just being told at the time. Felt really okay about it actually, because I thought, oh God, like I thought, you know, it can be dealt with. Suddenly you're on Google and you're looking up everything. And I was a bit freaked out about the situation, but it felt like it was all manageable and it's all, you know, could deal with it, all that sort of thing. Anyway, found this out about 6 weeks ago, and it's led to me having an operation to kind of remove it, which has been a sort of thing in itself. And then for the last couple of weeks, whilst I've been off the radio, I've been having some chemo. It feels like that's a lot of information just getting dumped in at once. But I guess what we wanted to do, just to start this podcast, you know, and obviously I don't want to bring the mood down for everyone, but just, I guess, have a little bit of a chat about it, really, and just share that experience. I get so many messages from people to this podcast, on DMs especially, from people wanting to share kind of what they're going through. So it just feels like it's the right thing for me to kind of show people listening the same respect. And that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, no, brilliant, mate. And obviously really proud of you for coming on and being open and honest about it, because, you know, if that could spark conversations, someone listening now, even if it helps, you know, one person to get checked out and saved them, you know, then it was worth doing. So, yeah.
And that's exactly it, Pete. The main reason I just wanted to say something during this podcast was, you know, we're very fortunate we get to do this podcast. And I clearly wasn't checking myself properly, found something by accident. And I guess I really, really just want to encourage people, if you can do one thing from today's podcast, is to go and just check yourself properly. And also just look out for any signs where you think, oh, I should maybe go to the doctor. I'm not one of those people that likes going to the doctors, really. And I think what would be really, really good from today's podcast is even if one person just goes and checks themselves, I feel a lot better about all of this, knowing that perhaps it's got some people thinking about this topic.
I mean, that was the key for us. Obviously, it was your decision whether you wanted to speak about it or not, and that's totally right, because it's a private, you know, situation, that what you've gone through. But when we spoke at depth, all of us, it was a case of, you know, I'm taking the majority of our audience is male orientated, and you know, putting it out there, as you say, could spark. If it's just that one person, then that's enough. You know, it's because, as you say, we've got lucky enough that we've got a platform and what we do, for how far it goes, not let alone this country, worldwide. You know, it's massive, and it sends a big message across the world.
So basically, when I found out I got it, I felt like an idiot, because clearly hadn't sort of examined myself properly. And so I didn't spot this thing at first. I went to the doctors about something else. And then whilst I was there, I kind of asked a question because something felt a bit unusual to me. But there's obviously so much information online about how you go check yourself, but I don't know if many guys do properly check themselves. I definitely didn't in this situation. And it's all good with me because I've had the surgery and it's been caught really, really early. So, I've had the surgery that then removes it. The bit of chemo I've had is a kind of preventative thing. It's not curing something. It's just making sure it's all sort of cleared up, kind of thing.
Is it just one batch of chemo?
Yeah. So I had one thing of chemo a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, as I say, it's not been. I can't lie and say it's been the most pleasant of experiences. This is actually the first thing I've done since having that. So I hope I'm explaining this right because my brain's a bit frazzled from overthinking everything. But I had one thing of chemo, which was just kind of recommended as a kind of, it will help your chances of it not coming back. There's just a couple of things I just really want to say very quickly. It's so curable, this thing, if you find it early. So that's what really annoys me, that I've let this thing go on without noticing, without really checking myself properly. I feel like, if I'm being really honest about it, I feel like I've put my family at some sort of risk from my ignorance around this, which really upsets me because I don't want to ever do that. And I also just think it's just not really a conversation that me and my mates have had at any point around this sort of health. I think there's probably a stigma around it because it's your bollocks. And it's that area. And I don't know if that's something that you guys might have seen throughout football or whatever, but I think there's a particular blokey thing here, which is it's not a very easy discussion to have. And also, I don't know when I would be talking to my friends about their respective bollocks. True. But I'm really, really annoyed with myself that I just didn't know how to check myself properly. And it's just like, look, I'm not a doctor, but what I would say is if you're going to do one thing today, I just really like the idea that people will spend a bit of time. Maybe you've listened to this podcast for a little bit and just go do something for yourself today and just keep an eye on these things, because caught early, it's so curable. My whole thing is totally curable. It's all solved. I've lost a bollock, but I'm happy to do that, for this result. It's just like, it could have been so much worse if I left it further down the line.
Obviously, the $1 million question is, how are you? Are you all right now?
I feel way better for having this chat because, how am I? I don't know, man, because I think the second you hear you have testicular cancer or cancer, it's such a big word. Whereas even when they said that, I was just a bit like, yeah, but it's, it's all cool. I'll play it down. But now that we're talking about it, it's been on my mind for like 4 or 5 weeks, and it's been heavy. And I just feel a bit sort of mixed up from this whole experience. And I just really want a little bit of good to come from something a little bit shitty.
There's always reflection that's harder, isn't it? Like when we was going through this and you were taking phone calls and you was explaining it to us the last few weeks, I could tell that you were just sort of rolling with the punches as such, and just, you very much upbeat, like going, yeah, this is what it is. And as you say, it's not until after, and you look back now and you're going, that's actually a big deal. But kind of what I've gone through. And probably it helped that it happened in such a quick space of time where you didn't have to think loads over it. Whereas now it's done, and now you're reflecting, it's a case of, wow, actually it's a pretty big deal, that.
I think so, because you're right. I was coming into these podcast records and almost going, I've got to run by 2 to go see the doctor, or I've got to take this call, or whatever it is. But, the result of this is, I'm really lucky I did go to the doctors, and this doctor did actually do their job well enough to kind of go, you know, you should maybe get that looked at a bit more and go get an ultrasound. All you've got to do is check yourself, and if you're not sure on anything, go book a doctor's appointment and actually do it. I think I don't know if you guys are the same. I don't know if you're more on it than me, but I just don't go to the doctors at all.
I think it's a man thing in general, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I'll be all right. You know, one of those. But like the thing, what's the key message out of this, I think, is if you do, you can stop it straight away.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it can end very differently.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the key message, isn't it? It's just to go out, get checked. It doesn't matter. And even if you're a little bit embarrassed, like it's embarrassed for what, like a minute, and then it's over. Yeah. You know, like just go and do it.
I think that's exactly it, Crouchy, and I think that's why I'm really pleased we could talk about this for this podcast. And I'm sorry it's not the normal nonsense, or nonsense is the wrong word. You know, the normal chat that we would be having, but it's you know, I'm sure if this has happened to me, this has happened to a lot of people listening as well.
Yeah.
So what I would love is that there are people that are listening to this that don't realise that this might affect them, that will maybe have another look and just check. And maybe it's something we can just check in with occasionally. It's become something that's obviously big in my life, so we've ended up talking about it on this podcast. But hopefully it's for a greater good as a kind of community of people who listen to this podcast, especially, well, obviously blokes, to go and just check yourself. And if you aren't sure, go to the doctors. And as you say, Crouch, you get it dealt with early so that it's not something that you have to worry about later down the line.
Yeah.
So thank you for letting me talk, because it feels weird having this chat, and it shouldn't.
You spoke brilliantly, mate. And I think you've made it really simple to do. You know, check yourself if you're worried or nervous about doing it, then go to the doctors, the professionals, and people that do know what they're doing and looking out for. And the way you've done it, mate, has been spot on.
Yeah, well
really
done, mate.
Nice,
well done.
I think I've said everything that we have to say on, but you know, there's information online. Obviously, get proper medical help. Not me.
Yeah,
but
well, listen, if you have dropped a bollock and you want to readdress that, you can.
It's a strange one to say. And then it's funny because we were talking about, you know, what this podcast could be today. And obviously there's a really important message to it with what we've just discussed. Really hard to bring the football element into it. But I had a genius move.
Okay.
Where have footballers dropped the ball? There's been some classics throughout history that we can go through.
Yeah.
You up for it?
Very much
Let's
so,
do it.
mate. Listen, it's on your terms. Are you starting, Chris? You give us a drop in the ball situation. What are you referring to?
I just think there are these kind of moments that happen in football where sometimes it could be where a player's lost it and they drop the ball, for want of a better
I get what you mean.
phrase.
Yeah.
Like a Cantona type situation or something.
The Cantona
like that.
situation, the Zidane headbutt.
Yeah.
But they end up changing the course of a game or football history in their own right. So where do you want to start? I mean, we could start with the Cantona kick. I mean, it was a bad one.
It was a bad one, yeah. It was. I've never seen anything like it. I remember watching it, thinking, "Oh my god!" And the worst thing is, he done the kick, landed on the floor, then went back in with the right hook.
Yeah, and it was an almighty right hook as well,
Unbelievable
wasn't
scenes.
it? I wonder if we'll ever see things like that again. I wonder if footballers will, like the modern day footballer, whether they'll absolutely lose it and go over, you know, because to go over a hoarding.
I know, mate. It's like
Kung fu kick someone. It's like,
I saw an NBA game. What was it called again? Have you seen that NBA game?
That
What
is,
was it called?
yeah,
What
the
was it
famous
called?
one. Where
The famous one.
Yeah.
Malice at the Palace?
Malice at the Palace.
Is that
I
what it's
think
called?
it is,
Yeah. Malice. Have you seen Malice at the Palace?
I don't think I
Carnage.
have.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
But why?
Why did
so,
they just goes into like they just start fighting
Yeah.
with the fans?
Yeah. Popcorn starts going everywhere.
Oh,
They
it's
start
carnage, isn't
launching.
it?
Yeah.
So I think someone threw a drink at someone. It all just kicked off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So the Cantona one, what have we got? So we're saying he's dropped the ball basically because, you know, he's let himself down, he's let his team down, although they all backed him and stuff. The Zidane one again, let himself down in, I suppose, the biggest high profiling game that you could do it in. Let his country down, I suppose.
What a moment, though. It's iconic, the picture of him kind of headbutting his chest, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a funny one, that one though, isn't it? Because it is both iconic and I don't know how you can put it, like almost, well, it's a negative experience, isn't it? But looking back on it, it is kind of football heritage, dare I say.
I know it is, yeah. It's like, it's so iconic as well, isn't it? But, you don't want to let it kind of, that be your thing, do you know what I mean? Whereas you think it's Zidane, right? I don't think of the headbutt, do you? Really?
No.
Like, that could have defined him.
Yeah.
Same as David Beckham when he gets sent off for against Argentina.
Yeah.
That could have been the end of him, That could have been like, you only remember him for that reason. Then he come back and had the best season of his life, won a treble.
Is it really hard as a footballer not to drop the ball, for want of a better phrase? Is it like when you're in the game?
We've all done it with me. I mean, I've spoke about the red cards that I've had, the suspensions. I've scored home goals. So, I mean, they're on small terms, but
when you miss a chance and stuff as
there's
well.
nothing worse than when you walk into that dressing room or when you're in there before and they walk in and you're like, lads, if you've ever got to apologise to someone individually or collectively, you've dropped the ball, haven't you?
The one with
you're trying to make up.
The one in Madrid for me, the red card in Madrid, like that was so kind of out of character, ridiculous.
Yeah,
running around like a lunatic, like fouled Ramos, got yellow, and then fouled Marcelo and got sent off.
Yeah,
in the first half. I just think, who was that out there?
Yeah,
I was sitting just going, like, I was just so fired up for the game, like just thinking, why have I done that?
And they're sort of in the heat of the moment ones, aren't they? Really, you could look at. There was one that come up. Let's talk about. Sam Allardyce, England manager, gets the opportunity
with the fake shake.
Not
ideal.
You've always got to be. You've got to have your wits about you, haven't you?
I think also, more so now.
Yeah, especially with those things. I remember Sven went through that as well, didn't he? On a boat somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose one of them ones as well where there's a lot of people out there to get you.
Well, let's get into that then, because that's more it, isn't it? It's been, if you're not dropping the ball, it's been on constant alert then. But then, do you think as a footballer that makes you too suspicious about even those close around you? Does it breed quite an unhealthy lifestyle for yourself?
I think, because you take yourself out, you put yourself in a bubble, don't you? And I think a lot of players do that now. I saw the pictures of Grealish recently, when he was at the working men's club in Sunderland or something. He's having a beer, like, obviously. I'm sure the lads in that place were buzzing off him, being there. But I suppose it's not a good look, but, the person filming him, what is that all about? Yeah. And I think, it's not a good look for him, and especially because he's maybe not in the team and hasn't played as much this year. But the people filming, you just think, if I saw Tom Cruise frigging, I don't know, parachuting down the road, I go, that's incredible. I don't think I'd video it. I genuinely don't think I would.
I don't know.
You think I would?
If you saw Tom Cruise parachuting,
I don't think it wouldn't be my first initial thing to go. I'd just go, that's incredible, and look at it.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because if you saw Tom Cruise walked into,
might be a bad example because if he was
Tom Cruise
probably would video that
into your local working man's club.
I'm saying if someone's having a beer and they're out, I don't think I'd take a picture of them.
I think we need rules as a society, don't we, to allow certain boundaries.
Yeah.
That could be great. Because I think Grealish going and having a beer, you're right. We shouldn't even know about it.
That's what I mean. I just think, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with it,
And I think then you can't have it both ways. You can't then have a situation where you make football players or people in general so guarded, but then demand more access to them. Yeah. It's like you're pushing and pulling.
Well, it's one or the other, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, if he then doesn't want to, he might go and sit in a different room, or he would probably never do that again. And I reckon the lads in there probably really enjoyed his company, I would imagine. Yeah. He'd probably never do that again. And you want people to be real like they were in the olden days, but then you're going to take a picture of them when they are.
You want footballers to be human, then you got to... I guess you've got to try and allow the situations to let them.
Well, that's the human element, isn't it? I think we're talking about situations that you're forced into or guarded or heat of the moment, but then there'd be ones that you had to think on. So and this could be outside of football. You could have had whoever, Elton John, miss out on a song or that went on to be an absolute worldy. Do you know what I mean, I know he's done obviously loads, but artists out there that have passed on an opportunity to do one song and it obviously go on to another. Or for instance, I thought of Sir Alex Ferguson when he got rid of Yap Stam. At the time, he might have thought it was the right move, but I think he said it in interviews after. He's like,
regretted that one.
Maybe that was one that I probably just regretted at that time. So
yeah, but it happens for a reason, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah. But there's loads, isn't there? There's loads.
When I think of dropping the ball, I think of Massimo Taibbi. Do you remember him? Man United goalkeeper.
Was that the one over the Spurs?
The one where he just threw it in, he slipped through his hands. I don't know why.
Oh,
do you remember Massimo Taibbi?
Yeah. I remember that was it Letizia scored?
Yeah,
the
Letizia,
shot from outside the box.
He just let
bobbled.
Just let it in.
And it went in. Yes. I thought it was the Spurs. Who was the one that...
that was Carroll.
Was it Roy
Carroll?
Was that Roy Carroll?
Well, yeah, it was Mendes from the halfway line.
Mendes, that was it. Mendes from the halfway line. They did drop the ball.
The referee dropped the ball there.
I think one of the worst dropping of a ball as a footballer must be if you're up front, right, and you've missed a sitter, and then you watch the ball making its way down the other side of the pitch, and they score against you.
I've got one for you.
How that was filmed.
I was playing for Southampton. We're in the relegation zone, and I think we were 2-1 up against Everton, and I remember I kind of jinked past two people. I don't know who I thought I was. I thought I was Giggs for a minute. And I've gone for a 30-yarder. I'm like, I don't think I've ever jinked past two and hit a 30-yarder. But for some reason, I thought in the 89th minute when we were 2-1 up that I'd do that. It frigging P-rolled into the keeper's arms. He's booted it right up the other end of the pitch. And I'm helpless now. And I watched Marcus Bent got the ball. He went past someone, he just hit it into the roof of the net and ran to and I went, and I looked and everyone looked at me and went, why didn't you just go to the fucking corner? Yeah. Obviously less polite than that. And I got absolutely hammered and I was like, lads, I just don't know what I was doing.
And in that time, when that keeper's booted it, are you saying to yourself, please don't?
Yeah, please. Because it was a good 4 or 5 seconds of please don't, not now. That is a rush of blood.
Yeah.
So one of those like, why am I shooting? Like once I'd kind of got past them, just go to the corner and it was game over. Harry came in after. Like Jamie wanted to kill me. To be fair, Jamie Redknapp was playing as well. Jamie wanted to kill me. I've never seen him like that. And then to be fair to Harry, kind of calmed Jamie down. I thought Harry was going to come in on me as well. Oh. He obviously told me.
Yeah.
But he was like, look. Done.
What's Jamie Redknapp like? Angry? I can't really imagine that.
He was ruthless. Like, he was fuming. Just because you know what it's like. Like we're working really hard here. Plus his dad's the manager. You know, let him down. Oh fucking hell, that was a bad one.
Is that ever? That's a weird dynamic. That, by the way, I'm not even sure.
What is that? What Jamie was playing?
Yeah, when he's playing at that level to have your dad as manager. I get it, Sunday league sort of thing.
Yeah.
I get. Do you know what I mean? Like that was what you grew up on. There was always
the Premier
one
League.
of the yeah. Like,
yeah, it's mad. He was brilliant though, Jamie. When obviously Harry signed him, he was brilliant when he came in. He's just struggling with his knees, but I mean, a great player, number one. But he was great around the place as well. And he was a massive help for me, Southampton.
Yeah.
when I played there.
The biggest, I suppose, dropping of the ball in terms of one end to the other than that, has to be the knockout.
Oh.
Was it a knockout penalty?
Yeah.
At Watford.
I mean, unbelievable. What an incredible football moment, obviously from a Watford point of view, but just in footballing sense, because it wasn't a penalty in the first place. So for that penalty to happen is an injustice. And the pressure that was on that penalty to then, it's saved twice.
Yeah.
And then he has to lie there on the floor and watch as the ball goes out. And like you were saying, you sort of probably go, oh, it probably won't happen. Like you see it all, just everything perfect. And then that moment where it goes in.
Oh, it's horrendous, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
crowd
there's
on
no
the
comeback,
pitch.
is there? Like, there's no comeback from that.
No.
It's done. It's all over.
It's
It's all over. Wow.
Some moment.
Yeah.
Talk about dropping the ball or letting the mask slip even. Tiger Woods. That was a... He did come back stronger though, to be fair. You have to say.
Where do you want to go with this?
This is just
What I'm saying is, what I mean by that is I thought he was he's tarnished forever, but he kind of came back round. I thought, no,
yeah. Listen, Tiger's Tiger, isn't he? He's like, I don't. It's mad that he was playing his best golf and
yeah.
he was the lunatic off the off the course.
This is the things. A lot of footballers, you obviously get the real insight here, but they're strange old characters in their personal life as well. There's stuff they're into.
There's a lot going on.
There is a lot.
Yeah.
You can be an elite sports person and
Yeah,
quite freaky, can't you?
be quite freaky. Quite often goes hand in hand. In my
Yeah.
experience.
Well, maybe there is something in that because, a bit like how you get rock stars and they do like rock star things. It's like, I think you've got to have that certain mindset to be a footballer, aren't you? You're not your everyday
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
chap.
I would say at least half the footballers are live a rock star lifestyle.
You are. Do you think you are a bit rock star though, aren't you?
I wouldn't say now. I would say they back in the day there was before camera phones were that come out. I know we've gone into this before, but definitely a rock.
Well,
and roll
that kind of
lifestyle.
Georgie Best era.
Yeah,
like,
from then up until even when he was playing. Like,
yeah, I mean, there was, like people like David Beckham. Do you know what I mean? Or if you're Mbappe or now, or it's
can't do
mad.
nothing.
Cristiano Ronaldo, if he walks in anywhere, you know what I mean? It's rock star vibes, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
That has to be.
yeah.
Okay, got some messages, guys. Morning, Crouchy, Notorious and Pancake. Regards to your families, I came across the video of back passes that led to direct free kicks back in the day. One of which is a young Peter Crouch playing for Portsmouth. Love the pod. Keep up the stellar work. Alex from Lichfield. I can't remember this at all. Why am I passing it back to the goalkeeper?
Why is he picking it up? More like.
Well, I imagine
So-
this is my fault because Ross has got a big smile on his face.
Here we go.
That's Liverpool, isn't it?
So
Crouchy's
Crouchy's in
in-
reverse.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, it's J-Mo. Oh no!
Oh, look at
Oh,
the
no.
state of it.
Oh, wow, how's it going in
he
there?
scored as well.
Look where it goes. It's on the post.
Oh my God.
First of all, it's J-Mo's fault, right? Okay, I'm going to stick up for you here, all right? It weren't a good ball.
It was a
It weren't a good
terrible
ball.
ball.
It weren't a good
It was an
ball.
awful
All right, it had
ball.
a siren on that ball as
Oh
well.
my God.
First of all, it's J-Mo's fault, all right, for not giving you an angle,
Yeah.
okay, and helping you out. But who is that on the post?
Well, just for the audio listeners here, obviously, I'm dribbling back towards my own goal against Liverpool.
Yeah.
And I play this back pass and it's way short. And Dirk Kuyt looks like he's going to get there. Doesn't get there, but J-Mo's already committed with his hands.
Yeah.
I don't think I can blame J-Mo. I think that was my fault.
but then it's an indirect free kick, only a few yards out. So obviously the box is just rammed.
And Fabio Aurelio sneaks it into the... And we don't see this much anymore, do we? Let's have a look at it. Right. Ball gets played out wide. Marty
you're
Skirtle's up
halfway.
there.
White line.
Look, no one's giving you an angle. Look at J-Mo. He's just stuck on his goal. I get like he shouldn't have done that there, right?
Terrible.
So then it's an
Play.
indirect free kick.
It's almost right at the penalty spot.
Right,
this.
yeah. Look
Now
at this.
look at all the men on the line. Who's that touching it to? Alonso,
Is it Mend?
To be fair,
who's already
Crouchy,
scored the
you don't-
volleys?
Sorry, we're going to have to pull you up on this as well.
Fabio Aurelio.
But
No, it's Crenshaw.
Oh no!
It's Crenshaw
Yeah,
on the
but
line.
I don't know if you can go for Nico here. Like, go back slightly. I hate to say it, Pete, but look at your defending on it. Given that you've just look, I would expect full
A full frontal.
Yes,
Full Schmeichel.
You should be almost splayed, like you're on a rack. You know,
But I felt like I was getting out there. No, that's actually as quick as I can move. Oh well,
Brilliant.
Yep, that's put me in my place.
Hi there, Ginge Crouchy from Bahrain and BBQC Plus. Thought it was worth it with the longevity chat last week to mention Kazuyoshi Moira.
Guess he usually more.
Maybe, I don't know. Sorry about that. Currently, he is the world's oldest professional football player. Jesus, at age 58. He holds the record for the oldest active goal scorer in the Japanese league and has the longest pro career spanning nearly 40 years, making his debut for Santos in 1986.
Wow.
Also, I'm off to Japan at the end of April. If you're still looking for a hand of pod to travel, wow, that's brilliant. Then I'm all ears. Regards to your family. That's from Mitch.
Wow.
58. Okay, so I think I've heard about this fella. So I think he was mentioned when Gary Lineker played out in Japan. He may have even won Player of the Year or goal scorer ahead of Gary Lineker. And he's still going now at 58. So Gary Lineker went on loan.
Yes, no, Gary Lineker, I remember when he went to Japan. Do you know what's so mad about this? I found out Gary Lineker was going to Japan and I remember where I was. How mad's that?
Go on.
I was on Pitsanger Lane where I used to live and I was going into one of the shops. Yeah.
And this was big news for young Peter Crouch.
Someone said Gary Lineker's gone to Japan. I went, no way. So what's he doing?
I thought you were to say you was in Ealing Police Station.
No, it wasn't anything. I just remember.
Reception.
I remember the exact moment.
Your brain is so strange, isn't it? Because look at all the things you've done. But you remember where Gary Lineker was announced as being on loan in Japan.
Yeah, if you give me a second, I'll get you the team. As Grand Passate. As Grand Passate, yeah. Yeah.
Was it Grand
Passate?
Passate?
Grand Passate. Yeah. That's
You
it.
did know.
I knew we go with them as well.
So you knew. So you knew it was Grand Passate.
Grand Passate, yeah. I knew that.
It. You should get. You need to go. You need to do a mastermind of.
It's just weird knowledge, though. It's not like
there's
it's
not
useful
one category.
It's not like
that's exactly it. He's like an attic of football. His brain. It's all interesting, but it's fucking random.
It's so weird, yeah. Like knowing where you were when Gary Lineker went to Japan, and I remember he had to retire because he broke his toe. I think he retired, but he was in Japan because he had a toe issue.
Yeah.
And I was like, how'd you retire for a toe issue? All on Pitsanger Lane, was it? Is that right? Yeah.
That's so good. It's brilliant. Brilliant.
Was that right? Was it a toe issue? What was it say?
Yeah. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, mad.
Oh no, yeah, he broke his toe. He broke his right toe. Sustained during a game against Osaka Gambas.
Hi guys, first and foremost, regards to your families. In the past couple of years, some friends and I started up a six-a-side team. Nothing high level, just went for a bit of fun and some purpose after hanging up our Sunday League boots several years prior. When we first started, the team was flying up the local leagues and loads of lads were turning up. It was like watching a smaller scale Wrexham story unfolding without the Hollywood funding. Fast forward a few seasons of winning everything, and everything has fallen apart. We've had multiple torn ACLs, a cracked rib, our star player abandoning his ship for a more tranquil life in Wales. We started seeing younger teams bursting past us like Lightning McQueen in a race with Steve Glideswell. It was safe to say the years of Guinness and glory had well and truly gone to our heads. 6 months after going into technical administration, aka no one wanting to pay their match fees, we decided to get the band back together. We feel like the lads are in tip-top condition after playing paddle most weekends and running around the house shouting at Ballyburn for falling at our Cheltenham Hackers. Anyways, we try and put down the pints and crack our limbs back into place for one last hurrah. I was hoping you guys would pray for a Chumbawamba and that Can't Fit My William will be back strong. There's a team called Can't Fit My William. Wow. Unbelievable. I don't know, Sids. I mean, do you want to give them a team talk? They're called Can't Fit My William.
Is this real or is this just getting Steve Sidwell to do a team talk?
I can't believe this is real.
Can't Fit My William. What a way to end this podcast, by the way. I mean, it's been quite a journey, hasn't it, over the last 40 minutes or so. And here's where we are, as always. Doesn't matter what good you do on this pod, does it? This is where we end up.
Oh, my God. I mean,
Crouchy, what a journey, eh? What a season. If you look at right at the start of this, poured my heart out. What are we doing now? Sidwell's about to do a team talk for Can't Fit My William. And this happens every week.
it's the most bizarre podcast. I mean, we've had some really serious, hard-hitting discussions. You know, Chris has poured his heart. Do a team talk to William.
I wouldn't want it any other way, though. We all know where this is going, Sids. Do the honours.
We're gonna do it anyway. Okay. So to the boys that can't fit my willy in, you need to get your big boy pants on, boys. All right, you need to strap it up, strap in, and get back on the wagon because you're letting yourselves down. And you're not letting yourselves down, you're letting us down because you reached out to the Peter Crouch podcast. You're letting Crouch down, you're letting Starkey down, you're letting Ross down, you're letting all the guys down. So bag it up, take a bluey, stick it in harder, and just push for the last hurrah.
Wow, thanks a lot. Thank you for those really kind words.
Final thought?
Final thoughts are, I really do appreciate you coming out, Chris, and talking about what you've been through. I think it's incredibly brave of you to do that, you know. And obviously good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Know, we're always here for you if you ever want to reach out, talk about anything or chat about anything. And I think the listeners will have appreciated you being so honest.
Yeah.
And like you say, I think you would have helped people out there. So well done to you.
Nice.
Agree.
Back stronger, that's what we say, don't we?
Exactly right.
And check your balls.
Very much so. See you next time, guys.